We actually went up to New York City to see tattoo artist Tom DeVito, this old guy, he had a bunch of folk art hanging up. And Joe invited me up, and I was street shooting and checking this guy out with him. And I guess on the train ride home, we were kind of discussing like how none of that stuff ever happens in Wilmington. I also just came off of a trip from New Orleans where I felt like music and art was like very prominent, and it was everywhere, and it was young, and it was vibrant. And as soon as I got back home, I kind of felt depressed that there was nothing I can go to that had that vibrant feel to it. In Newark, nothing. Wilmington, nothing. But I see that they're starting to build stuff up, and I just wanted to help. You know what I mean? Like bring what I wanted to see to town. So the idea came up to have a community show, Collective of Artists, and I kind of went out and reached out to some of my friends and gave them the idea of having a collective show with live music, something for the community, something that was unique to this area, and everybody jumped on board.
I've known Dave since she's DCAD back in the 2003, I think.
Okay.
So, and you know, Delaware's small enough where the circle, everybody just keeps in touch. So he had this idea to put this all together, and he thought of me.
Originally, that's kind of how it formed. People who went to DCAD in Wilmington, who are still making artwork 10 years later. And then it was like, who else do we know that makes things?
Once we came into a couple of days after the first meeting, we decided that we needed to have a common theme, a way to get the word out, a common bond underneath. Even if it didn't necessarily make sense for all the work to be exactly the same, I just wanted to have a little bit of everything.
It's good to jive with other people that have a different rhythm. You know, it's more enriching.
It sounded great to me. Everyone's got so much different stuff that it was really exciting to kind of think about, you know, how you'd be different but still fit in, and how would you say no to all this cool stuff that's going on, and great people, and it's just really exciting to be a part of it.
Me coming here the first time, then it definitely took us a good hour and a half just to all walk around to think about the space and where we were going to hang things.
My main goal, I guess, is just to catch everybody's eye, you know. It's so bright, you kind of can't not look at it. And these are way more brighter than they were here than they were when I was painting them, you know, which is cool.
You kind of have to think of it as your own, as a canvas. I mostly do sculpture-based things, three-dimensional things, you know, work with objects. Kind of have to go with, you know, construction, you know, how things are laid out, you know, gotta look out for ductwork if you got a, you know, tall piece like the piece that I have right here.
Seeing the inside of your soul, it takes so much work to put it together, and then, you know, even just making it it's really personal work, you know. It just takes a lot out of you, and then to be able to show it, I get really nervous, but I'm always really excited to see it all put together and how it fits in with everyone else and what the reaction of it is, and, you know, it's just, there's a lot of love in everybody's work here, and it feels really nice to, like, get it together and have people celebrate it.
Dave's work deals with color a lot, my work deals with color a lot, whereas Dave Norbut's work, not that it doesn't deal with color, but you know, it's muted tones against the muted tone background, so you definitely need to figure those things out and how things are going to sit next to each other.
I feel like when I paint people, I'm getting to know them, and just the little curves in their face, or they're just, I tend to romanticize people's little imperfections also, so it just seems a lot more interesting to me just because it's a bigger challenge than just drawing a landscape or a car. I don't know, people just seem a lot more interesting for me. I hope that people take those things that they don't like about themselves are actually kind of great and makes them them. So those are the bits that you should treasure about your face or whatever. But I hope that that's what comes through when somebody looks at my painting.
I'm showing two different bodies of work. One are these collages that deal with color, and half the time they turn into faces. You know, they just turn into faces, you know. And then the other stuff I'm showing downstairs are more of a repetitive motion thing, so lines or a shape that's repeated over time to make a thing, you know, and that's more of a meditation. You sit and you see where that takes you, and then it's more about that than the result.
Just being able to look at it and be proud of it and be a part of all this is all the goal I could ever need, but you know, it would be it's nice to show off what people are doing in Wilmington, you know, that's different and unique, and you know, it's all, each artist has a different feel to them.
That's a hard wall. I think this area drives us because this is where we're from. Dave tattoos down the street. Danielle lives a couple of blocks down the street. Bonaia's not far from here. I'm not far from here. We all went to school here. I mean, this is kind of the small hub of things being rebuilt. This is where all the galleries are. This is where the art walk is. We wanted to be a part of that, but we wanted to bring our own flavor to it.
Just want to show off what Delaware's got to offer, and it's a lot. It's just, you know, hidden. So we just try to showcase it here.
Being a street photographer, you find what you love about wherever you are, because it takes time to see these different neighborhoods and the different characters that you see on a regular basis. And all I want to do is document the realness of it.
The best part of it for me is just to be with all my friends doing something cool, you know what I mean? Regardless, I'm going to be doing this, so it's cool to have somewhere to show it.
We all make things all the time, and we don't necessarily show them that often. I mean, I know Dave Mele and myself, I mean, I have a basement full of stuff that, you know, I just don't necessarily show people. But it was cool to get organized and show it people in a cool setting.
I think I could speak for the group when I say that if nobody came to look at our work, we'd still get up the next morning and work. That's what we do.